Hello and welcome to Unfrazzle with me, Louise Miller. If you're a solo business owner and you have a big, exciting vision and loads of ideas that you want to get out in the world, but without drowning in a sea of overwhelm, then this is the podcast for you. Each week I'll be sharing bite-sized insights to help you stop faffing and stay focused so you can make your brilliant ideas happen and make a bigger impact in the world. It's time to step away from the hustle and find a kinder, more sustainable approach to productivity. So grab yourself a cuppa and let's get started. Busted. That was my first thought when I accidentally hit send on the email I'd intended to schedule for 9 a.m. Now I need to send another email to explain myself, to explain why I, a slow productivity advocate who talks about setting yourself up for a good day by not letting the outside world in first thing in the morning, was emailing a client at 5 a.m. So, explain myself I did. I fired off another email letting her know I'd had a bad night's sleep, I'd been awake since 4, I knew that I was going to go splat later that day, so I chose to spend an hour or so in my inbox before breakfast so that I could get some rest later. Now, I'm really not sure why I felt such a strong need to defend myself, but I really did feel like I'd been caught with my hand in the cookie jar. And, here's the thing, working hours are a funny old thing when you're self-employed. When I first started out many years ago as a VA, I felt that I should be at my desk from 9 to 5, and goodness knows how much non-billable time I wasted on pointless scrolling and faffing, having done everything that was important that day, but staying glued to my seat because it wasn't yet 5 p.m. So have you ever done that too? If you've ever worked a 9 to 5, it can be really hard to adjust to the idea that a full day's work doesn't have to mean 8 straight hours at your desk. So how do you feel about your working hours? Have you designed your days to work for you, or are you still trying to work within a construct born from the Industrial Revolution, regardless of whether or not it feels good or is helping your productivity? And these days, I've got a very fluid relationship with my working hours. During weeks where I have a lot of client delivery and not much flexibility in my schedule, I tend to work what most would consider normal hours, starting sometime between 8:30 and 9 and finishing up by 5:30. And I always have a proper lunch break, no matter what is going on. But if I'm delivering a session or attending something in the evening, I always schedule some time out during the day so that I don't end up accidentally working a 12-hour day. And if I'm going through a waking up at 4 a.m. patch, I might choose to do some work before breakfast so that I can stop and rest when I'm tired later in the day. And often that means watching RuPaul's Drag Race at 3 p.m. or drafting a blog at 5 a.m. And that's absolutely okay. I'm designing my days to work around my energy levels. And as with everything, it all comes down to knowing yourself, knowing how you work best and what you want your days and your weeks, and by extension your life, to look like. One client recently told me she loves responding to emails at 9:30 p.m. So that would be a complete disaster for me, as that's usually when I'm thinking about going to bed. But she's a night owl. So as long as it's not causing problems for her sleep, her health or her relationships, who am I to tell her not to follow her energy? And of course, this does come with a warning. Sending emails at 9:30 p.m. if you started work at 8 or 9 a.m. and you've hardly stopped all day, that's not sustainable in the long term and might well end in burnout. But sending emails at 9:30 p.m. when you've had a delicious, spacious day with a good chunk of time away from your desk, then why the heck not? And then there's a friend of mine who has found joy in starting her working day at 11 o'clock in the morning. And she often sees clients in the evening, so that's perfect for her. It means she gets to enjoy her mornings on her own terms before she starts work. When you're your own boss, there really are no rules when it comes to your working hours. You can play and experiment until you find what feels right for you. Maybe you decide that you do need some structure, you want those boundaries around your working time, and you decide to work some set hours. But those set hours don't have to be 9 to 5. I have a client who works from 9 until 12:30 and then from 4 until 6. She knows her own energy and she's set things up so that clients can't book coaching sessions with her during the afternoons. But with all of this, there's truly no right or wrong, and you get to choose. So how fabulous is that? You can work whenever works for you, as long as you're taking good care of your health, well-being and relationships. So if it's been a while since you've reflected on your working hours and how they're feeling for you, I just encourage you to do that today. See how you can find more ease and work with your natural energy rather than fighting against it. All right, I hope that helps. Sending you lots of love, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you for listening to Unfrazzle. Sharing is caring, so if you loved this episode, please share it on your socials or head over to Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts and leave me a review. Not only will I be hugely grateful, your ratings and reviews will help others to find this podcast so that even more people can make their ideas happen. Thanks so much, and see you next time.